Welcome, everybody, to the Sosa podcast. And my guest today is Effortless Dating by Shawn. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
I didn't know you were local until I started recognizing Lift ATX.
Okay.
So, that gym's also gaining a lot of popularity as well.
Mm-hmm.
And tell everybody about your background and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Lift ATX is a spot. It's if you are looking for a great community, a great place to lift heavy weights, go Lift ATX. Yeah, a little bit about me. Dating coach here in Austin for specializing for introverted men. Honestly, but I don't discriminate, right? I think everybody deserves a chance to find love. To be honest, this is something I've been thinking about actually today a lot. I come from a background, conservative family, and like most, immigrant. So a lot of people resonate with that, which is awesome. But one thing I'll say, and I'm like, this is the first time I ever said this like publicly, is I feel like I was growing up like very privileged.
Mm.
It's super weird because people were like, so I never had a chip on my shoulder. My family was comfortable. It's not like we were, wealthy or anything. It was more like anything I wanted, I didn't feel like I needed to work very hard. So, got by, obviously school, you got to do school and everything. So I did okay. Wasn't that great. But like, I never had to worry about like, oh, where's my next meal, all that stuff. So I always felt like I had something to fall back on. And I'm getting to my point is once I kind of fell into like discovering kind of psychology and understanding like, yo, why can't I talk to girls? Why am I shitting myself? I can curse, right? Why am I shitting myself trying to talk to my crush? Why would it take me 8 months to talk to somebody? Or like can't make eye contact with the cashier. I went in a deep dive. I found myself, instead of doing my homework, in high school, college, whatever, like spending time reading research studies, watching YouTube videos on, not just like how to talk to girls, but like psychology, evolutionary bio, all this stuff from a really young age. And I never stopped. I'm still haven't stopped to this day. So I feel like I had an inkling of like, okay, this is something I might pursue down the line. But being an Indian immigrant, my parents were like doctor, engineer, lawyer. So I tried that. It didn't work out for me. But so that taught me a lot. And I just kind of ended up following my passion. And here we are.
It's beautiful, man. I know you said for introverted men, they need it the most. Because if you're charismatic or outgoing, even if you're doing it to seek validation like the class clown or something, you do have a leg up. The feminine are the ones to be pursued, to be chased.
Yeah.
Right? You don't really see girls going up to guys and asking for their number. That's just not the cards that we were dealt. We were dealt to be masculine, leaders. And there's a thing they say that women are born with value. They can give life. Men,
we go to war.
Damn.
We go to war.
We go to war. We ain't worth a damn when you're 18 years old. But you have to have that drive. You have to actually study something and develop some kind of skills. What are some of those skills that you need to develop to be good with women?
So, I still believe this. I think, being able to have self-belief is very important. Being able to tell yourself you're enough, all the very kind of ethereal things that you have to utter to yourself in the mirror is very important. But if you want to be confident, I think you just have to reverse engineer the truth. And the truth is, you're not going to be confident until you have an undeniable stack of proof that you are. It's one thing telling your friends, oh man, I'm definitely going to get her number. I'm going to get her. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to become the best. I'm going to become VP of my company in 5 years. 5 years rolls around, you jump 3 different companies, whatever, right? For me, confidence comes from the proof. For me, it was, if we're talking about dating, talking to girls, finding a girlfriend, whatever. How are you going to tell yourself, oh man, I couldn't find a girlfriend after you talked to 2 women for your entire life? You need to be able to tell yourself, no, I tried. I really, really tried. and I've never met a successful person that hasn't tried hundreds of times that has not found any sort of success. So for me, that's what it takes. It takes the reps. And to be honest, most people are scared of it, I would say. Everybody has a capability. Every single person has a capability. I don't care who you are. It's just, are you willing to?
The thing about the reps with women is it's one of the most scariest things for guys to do.
Yeah.
They will succeed in business. They will be billionaires before they master the confidence with women.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about how they buy escorts and all those things, but they'll succeed in fitness. In fact, I guarantee most of the guys at the gym are getting swole, getting buff, so they can have confidence, so they can talk to the girl.
Mm-hmm.
At least the first stage of fitness people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so there's so many areas of success that guys would rather do than go up to a girl.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
Getting rejected sucks.
Yeah. You're talking to a person that has been rejected, I would say close to over a few thousand times, on purpose for the most part. So
You don't become the best without failing a lot.
I wouldn't call myself the best at all, but that's the only thing I have over anybody else. It's like the willingness. I purposely put myself in a lot of situations where I was like, I'm going to fail miserably. And then you realize how hard it is for someone to actually reject you. And you realize, I just talked about League of Legends for 30 minutes with this girl and she's still here. And, obviously I made this kind of a generalization, but that's just kind of the reality. If you're interesting, if you can find something you're really passionate about and kind of transfer that interest, let's just say I'm gonna keep talking about League of Legends, which is a video game that I don't even play. It just came to my head. But if you can show this person, like, oh, you remind me of this character, and so it's actually a really funny exercise I used to do with myself and I do with my clients. Find something you're really passionate about. And you can only talk about that one thing for the entire night. So this is a scenario where we've gone out and I'm coaching them, and you can only talk about that one thing. You cannot change topics, even if they change the topic. You have to bring it back. So let's just say it's I won't use League of Legends for this example. Let's say it's pickleball, right? You can only talk about pickleball, but you have to bring my favorite drink's vodka cranberry. No way. We serve that at my local pickleball social. Why? I can't believe you weren't there. Have you played pickleball? You don't look like a pickleball girl, right? Whatever, you're kind of teasing. You got to bring it back. And it's just so funny because at the end of the day, just like if you can learn how to entertain yourself, you realize like, why is she still here? So it's a bit of a magic there. So
yeah, that's funny. I like that idea, and I see what you mean, because number one, you have to actually be passionate about something.
Facts.
And most guys just work and maybe work out. Doesn't mean they're passionate about it.
Yeah.
But building a life is what we're talking about. Building skills, becoming interesting, genuinely, like, take time to cultivate your own garden. And that's essentially what women are actually looking for is a character, not just a copycat of somebody trying to be somebody that they're not.
Yeah.
Don't you appreciate a funny character or a genuine person when you see them?
You can tell off the bat, right? It's like, it's character, there's different types of characters, right? There's people that are unique in their way, that they're funny, weird, but they might rub people the wrong way. And that's a character in of itself. But then there's also people that you can hit it off with immediately. They just know how to listen. They make you feel comfortable. They ask questions. They're like, why is this guy my best friend? Why is this girl my best friend? I've only been talking to this person for 5 minutes. So if you can actually reverse engineer that, right? It's just like, what did this person do? If you have a really good interaction, it's like reverse engineering. What did they do so well that I was like enthralled by? Mm-hmm. And then you figure out, oh, I didn't freaking talk at all, man. I just sat here for 20 minutes. Or sorry, they didn't talk at all. I just sat here for 20 minutes blabbering about how I love pickleball and espresso martinis at my favorite place, and they listened and recommended, So I feel like that's kind of the game a bit, and there is a bit of a game. I'm sure we'll get to it at some point that we can talk about. But yeah, I think going back to your point, you got to have a passion. And I'll say this, for me, it was like when I started this, I was a degenerate in the sense of like all I thought about was girls. All I thought about was dating. Like, I got to date as many girls. I got to do this. I got to figure out this. And like, I put everything else on the back burner. But it became kind of, I didn't realize it was a passion then. I was just doing it because I needed it. I needed this like hit of dopamine from conversations with girls and like, sex and stuff. But then I realized, wait, this is like, what am I spending all my time doing? That's usually a pretty big key indicator to someone's passion or interests, right? So yeah, going to the gym and stuff is great, but you got to have a bigger purpose. And once you dive into that bigger purpose, it actually makes dating really easy because you naturally would surround yourself with people that are like-minded. You go to, if you really get into, I don't know, running, right? You get into running, oh man, you get into the shoes, you go into run clubs. Where are you going to meet a girl, your girlfriend? It's kind of self-explanatory. It kind of builds around your passion. So yeah.
When you were younger, because I can relate. When I was younger, I was shy, introverted, and that's a whole can of worms of psychology of how and why that
We'll
is.
talk about it one day.
Most guys, of course, you're a teenager. You're in college. You have hormones, testosterone like no other. And it's biology. God programmed us to procreate. Apparently there's not going to be enough people in 100 years, so maybe we got a job to do. But it's just biology. It's nothing more sinister or crazy or fuckboy than that. It's just biology. Guys are visual. Caveman times, I have to assess who's going to be the most fertile.
Yeah.
And then that's my target. And that's as simple as that goes. Women have to assess who's the most alpha, who's going to take care of me the most, protect me the most, provide the most. And this is all subconscious for women. But how did that progress for you? So like, were you obsessed, addicted? Were, like most guys tend to be, usually to porn and video games?
Mm-hmm.
You actually went out and met women. So what is that arc of, you were introverted? Walk me through how you got better with women.
Yeah. So for me, it started kind of like most people. I was almost diagnosed with social anxiety disorder. I didn't even know that was like a thing or remotely a thing. And the solution for that was pills, drugs. All right. And my parents, I want to thank them because they said no. They're like, we're not doing that because it just numbs you. And I don't want to do that. I was like, and I went to the only place I felt safe. And, when I was younger, it was YouTube. I still spent a lot of time on YouTube. And that was like my safe place where I searched everything, where I learned a lot of stuff. So, I was like, how do I talk to my crush? How to, Google all this stuff. And then I found videos, and it was just kind of a fascination. It was like this dopamine hit of like, oh my God. Wow. And it's, back then, good old days of YouTube, you could like actually watch people like walk up to people and, talk to them and like, whoa, I can do that. And I never would. I would just like watch and get this high, but one day. Right. So it became a fascination. And then eventually I was like, I remember the moment distinctly. It was it was a crush I had I can barely call her a crush, bro. She didn't even know who I was. She didn't know I existed, my name, literally. Like we were on the same tennis team and all this stuff, but it took me 8 months to approach her. I would get up every day from lunch as she was walking by when the bell rang to go to class. 8 months, dude. I don't know how many days that is. It's like average. That's like almost over 240 days of non-action.
Of
right?
Opportunities missed.
Yeah, exactly. Opportunities missed. I saw other guys stalking her, all this stuff. And my friends were making fun of me, like, this guy's never going to do anything. And just for the example here, on the 241st day, I was like, something happened, like a switch went off in me. I just got up. I was still pooping my pants. I got up, man, and I went over and talked to her for 10 seconds. I was like, hey, you're on the tennis team, right? I remember this conversation like it was yesterday because it only lasted 10 seconds. Okay. Talked to her, and she was like, yeah, I'm on the team. What's your name? I was like, oh my God, she has my name. And does it. And then she went this way, I went that way, went to class. I've ever since then I've been chasing that high. So
Because it's a rush.
It's
a rush.
There's never going to be a greater rush than like that moment, or like a moment a girl gives you a number and you go on a date. Like never until sex. But from then on, I saw the potential, right? I put myself in a position, even though it took 240 missed opportunities, to put myself in a position where I tried. And I was like, this is what happens if I try. What if I succeed? And
Did you succeed with her?
no, not with her. I don't think I ever talked to her yet. I don't think
Well,
so.
that sent you on a mission.
Yeah, send me on a mission. And I think every man, people call it fuckboy journey, but every man goes on a journey to kind of discover themselves, discover what they're capable of. And I think every man should.
There's a proper terminology too. It's like a men in their night. Like knight,
Yeah.
prince, king.
Yeah. You could, I was just like, I'm going to go out. And I never drank. I don't really drink to this day except for special occasions. I was like, and I noticed at bars and at different places, like people are just drinking, spending hundreds of dollars and not getting laid. Damn. Like, I'm being serious. That's how I thought. And I was like, I'm going to use this to my advantage. So I learned how to become social. So for me, that arc, my storyline went from being very kind of timid to understanding like, I can do this. Let me just talk to as many people as possible. And from then it went from like the whole pickup artist cold approach thing, me going like paying for thousands of dollars of programs, coaches, going to Vegas, and going into locations with like I'll call it like the most beautiful women in the world, because they were to me in the US, whatever, and learning how to like game, whatever, right? So. But then I realized it was there's no real end game with like cold approach and all this stuff. It's great. It's awesome. But I was like, I just get numbers. Sometimes it's just like 1 out of 10, even on the best, even for the best people, which is great. But it was like, I don't see these people again. You know what I mean? So then it evolved into building an ecosystem. I learned that why don't I just build an ecosystem where people come to me, make it more passive, make it more effortless. And that's what I did. So I learned how to become friends with anybody, anywhere, and frequent places, and like get to know the staff, use my environment to help me like become recognizable in a sense, almost like build my status without using money, right? I was like a broke out of college like guy. I was like, I don't have, how am I supposed to do this? So I still invested heavily in myself, and then I kind of became friends with all the people in nightlife. I'm not asking anybody to do this, but like that's the path I chose. If you're really into, people do this in venture capital, people do this in entrepreneurship, especially in Austin. That's where people meet. That's where the highest, everybody wants to meet. Like, oh, that's this guy. He knows everybody. He's the founder of this, right? So you're building there, and everybody's going to want to meet you. So you want to be almost like the host of your own ecosystem. And that's what I really like to preach now, because it makes it so much easier. There's so much less walking. You still have to talk to people, but you don't have to like gulp. Okay. Let's do it. Okay, come on. What do I say to her? Okay, hey, what's up? That's weird. I don't have to do any of that. Most of the time now and back in the day, it was like people would introduce me. Hey, Shawn, this is my friend Stacy. This is this, blah, blah. She's new. Oh, I'm like a celebrity, as a joke, but not really, because you are. So kind of build that for yourself. Even if it's at your local climbing gym, man. Lift ATX is a great place to do that. Tip, anytime you go into a new place, starting, you get a new gym membership, whatever, even if you don't know anybody at your gym now, coffee shop, go up, I would frequent it more and get to know the names of the staff. Get to know a fun fact about them. Like, remember this stuff, because that's how you build connections. And then while you're waiting for your coffee, you're waiting for your set, you're dabbing up the person you met there, and they'll introduce you to someone, or like you're just more comfortable, because when everybody knows you, you kind of feel like, oh, okay, hey, do you know John? He's the manager here. Wait, you go to his gym, you don't know him? I don't know, so it's easy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this is social proof, and more than the technical terms, it's generally just being friendly and building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cross training. If you have good male relationships, if you have good employer relationships, if you live in the suburbs, it's going to be a lot harder to find those kind of groups and people than if you go to the city where it's definitely a lot more community based, you can walk outside and
Oh my
there's
gosh,
just
dude.
people everywhere.
Yeah.
So you want to put yourself in an environment where you are outside of your house.
It's conducive to your growth,
Yes.
right? That's where I lived. I always lived downtown. I live in the suburbs, not even that far away, 10, 15 minutes from the city, but I'm in a different part of my phase of my life now. But I would always put myself in the center because, oh man, you know what? I'm going to go grab a coffee, get on a scooter, go grab a coffee at 8:15. Oh, there's a cute girl walking her dog. Stop the scooter real quick. You have that power. If you live in the suburbs 20 minutes away, all right, first off, there's a damn good chance you're not going to get up and go. If you're not committed, you're not like,
Yeah, go drive 20, 30 minutes to go get.
dude, people don't even do that on weekends. You know what I mean? So it's like, make it easy for yourself. If you have the capability, do it. If not, and if you're actually you're actually willing to work on this, save up a little bit. It's worth it because if you actually are willing, if you move downtown and you're broke, you're able to move downtown, all your cards are on the table. All your chips are on the table. It's up to you to make friends with everybody, better friends, people that are going to build your life. All the entrepreneurs, all the successful people are living downtown for a reason. It's a network. But that's kind of, again, building kind of your, I call it there's a term like the fickle 500, your fickle 500. The people that are tight knit, they don't usually get out of the group, and they're the ones that help you grow.
That's big for those that need that checklist. Your environment is probably the most
100%.
important place to start. The other thing is, let's just say you start meeting some people, you get some phone numbers, maybe it's time to set up a first date. What are the trends right now? It seems like hookup culture is pretty big. Seems like then there's a whole nother category of intentional dating, and then there's people who are really wanting to settle down and start a family. So there's different phases of dating.
Correct.
The clients that are coming to you, are they just starting from scratch, the first phases, maybe some variety, or maybe they already want a wife?
Yeah. So I have, it's a great way to put it, in 3 phases. I have clients in all 3, and I think that's a perfect breakdown of what most people are in. Realistically, there's 33% of people that have no experience. There's the statistic right now as of 2018 or 2020, I believe around that range, 1 in 3 men haven't had a sexual partner in over a year, which is mind-boggling if you just kind of think about it. 1 in 3 dudes that you see have not had sex in a year, which is, it might be up to them. There's a lot of different factors go into it. But yes, the guys that don't have any success or dating doesn't mean they're losers, right? They might have been busy grinding, right? And they're like, okay, I just don't have any dating experience. I need help. They're so used to having a system, right? They have a personal trainer, accountability system, right? The personal trainer, chef, whatever. I don't know what else people use, like a cleaner, all that stuff. Why not hire a coach? They have a therapist. Why not hire a dating coach? They just make it. It cuts their learning curve in half. So it makes sense to them. And then there are people. My favorite category is intentional dating. People that are like, you know what? I've gone on Hinge dates. I've gone on dating app dates. I've gone on dates where I meet people and it's just there's no spark, and I feel like something's wrong. I don't know why, because it keeps happening. So the people that want to date intentionally, aka want to have a girlfriend, they're running into the same problems over and over again, and it's just a cycle. There's a few kind of tweaks that they need to make, and those are, I'd say, predominantly my clients. And then there are clients, there are a handful of clients that I have that are recently divorced, or they're a little bit older, usually divorce or something happened, that they're like, dude, I have to do this again. I have a kid that's 14, 15, whatever, but I have to. I want to. So again, the answer to all of these questions is environment, right? If you're 44 into fishing, football and whatever, golf, there's going to be a different place where you meet someone that's you're gonna need. If you're a guy, it depends on your needs and your values and what you want, right? The most important thing is for all 3 of these groups, your purpose. What are you doing? What are you truly passionate about? And where do you end up spending a lot of your time? Where do you want your wife, your future girlfriend, whatever, to be on a Saturday morning? like, especially in Austin, that's a phenomenal indicator of where you should be spending your time. But at the end of the day, you still have to have the courage. Even your future wife could be sitting right next to you in Barton Springs, at the coffee shop, at the run club, at the gym. You just have to say hi, right? Like, what you say doesn't matter. It's how you say it. That's a very common saying, but it's like you just have to initiate the conversation. You just have to remove all those layers in between to where it makes it difficult. She's sitting next to you in a social setting at Barton Springs where everybody's chatting, hanging out, drinking. You're weird if you're not talking to her. She's looking at you, maybe made eye contact, maybe looking at you more than once. I know all those are all gimmicks people say, but I'm like, why not try? How do you know they're a gimmick if you don't try? All right, just because you see something on TikTok doesn't mean it's true. So it's like, how do I make it as easy and effortless as possible? But at the end of the day, you're still gonna have to flip the switch. You're gonna have to turn over and be like, hey, where'd you get that bag? That's dope. Holy shit, was that hard? Honestly, the expression, the moment my client comes back to me after I kind of send them to do the hard thing, oh my God, that's honestly why I do it. Because I just see myself. And he's like, dude, I got the number. She was actually not a bitch. So I'm like, wow, how do you feel? And it gives them that confidence. They're like, oh, let's go. But then you got to stack it up. And then you realize you got to do it over every single day. But not start small. Hey, how's your day? Oh, I love your dog. No, I'm not talking about girls. I'm talking about everybody. Talk to the dog. Talk to the grandma on the way to work, on the way to the coffee shop. You're talking. And then once that moment arrives where she's there, standing there, waiting, whatever, you give it a shot, see what happens. Yeah, it's easy.
Because there's momentum there. You got that social momentum.
Yep.
And a note on that too. I really, really like what you're saying about approaching, because it really is a numbers game too. You can have the most perfect, smooth intro opening.
Yeah.
But if she's red light,
yeah,
just don't take it personally.
You got to move on.
You may look exactly like her ex that she hates.
Yeah.
You have no idea what she's filtering out. Or she's really in love with this guy who's watching her right now and he's super jealous.
Yeah. That's a great story.
Idea.
Yeah.
You have no idea what is going on there. And then you may have a good interaction. They're yellow light, but they're really busy and they actually care more about their finals or their work, or they're in a place in life right now where they actually don't really want to meet men, but they're single, but they're just focused on something else. A lot of times it's just timing and finding the right puzzle piece and finding someone that's green light, someone that's actually trying to meet somebody that is man enough to go up to you.
Yeah.
So that's my little tier thing, but men nowadays don't actually really approach. Like, I think they're quite reliant on apps, and I want to highlight the fact that you found a solid partner. And for those that are looking to find a solid partner, I would love your take and feedback and advice on how to find the one, because to be good with the one, to find the one, you have to be good with women in general and cultivate some sort of abundance. So that way you're not a desperate, starving person in a desert island and the first person that notices you latch onto. So that is what I was taught by the same people, is to build abundance. But the way I found my partner, who we had an amazing 8-year run, I wasn't looking for her. It just happened. It was just a match. And I love the saying that if you know, you know. Because it would look like everybody else is like in the kiddie pool or like the shallow end of the ocean. And then when you meet the one, it's like the Mariana Trench. It's just deep.
Yeah.
And you want to go deep because deep is so much better.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that as a single guy now, because the relationships I'm cultivating have been good matches, and, I'm developing quality. And I guess I'm just a deep person. I can't really do too much superficiality, but it really is dependent on how deep you go within yourself.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're looking for that person, are you that person? Right?
Facts. Yeah.
Do you feel like it's true? Maybe the people who are looking too hard for the one repel.
That's a deep question. That's a loaded question, right? I think for me, I can give you my experience. For me, I can say I met my girlfriend while I was looking
For
someone out of abundance. So I met my lovely girlfriend, I guess, kind of through practice of practicing what I preach. I saw her at a bar, a really nice bar up in Dallas, and I don't drink, so I saw her. I was like, I'm not gonna. And the first thing I entered, I was like, I'm not gonna go shoot my shot right now. I'm not warmed up. I'm gonna lose this opportunity if I mess up. So me being me, I talked to everybody. I was with my roommate, who I trained to be a masterful wingman.
no way.
Yeah, I taught him everything I knew. We met at, I think, work back in the day, and now he has a happy relationship for him too. But mingled for an hour, saw her. I was like, thank God she's still here. Walked up. Once I got closer, I realized she was like 12 friends. That is the most. Nothing scares a guy more than
Yes.
an attractive girl and 12 of her friends. But there's always hope. Again, you have to win. So basically, all I did was I won the group over. I didn't even talk to my girlfriend, her at the time. I focused on the leader of the group. You can tell immediately off the bat, for the most part, who the leader of the group is.
The loudest one.
Loudest, yeah. Usually it's the one that makes all the decisions. I always ask, like, okay, who's the one that makes the brunch plans? Cindy? All right, it's Cindy. Cindy, who's, like, that's I bantered. Like, I learned how to banter.
Yeah.
And I got my wingman to, like, distract them for the rest of the time. And I was able to kind of talk to her while my friends were talking to her. And,
I hope this wingman has a frame on your wall. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
Wingman of the year, picture of me and him. Yeah. He took a picture of us the day we met. We don't have an anniversary, so we just used the date we met because we have timestamp
That's cool.
as our anniversary date. And yeah, it was hard. I had to battle off her friends trying to pull her away. Even after I won them over and, like, hey, I'm right here, don't worry. Other guys, I was like, the audacity, right? Distractions, bathroom, girl, she still came back. And I was like, okay, obviously this person still likes me to be here. And then we went out the next day. And, she almost didn't. So there's always a loophole, or not a loophole, plot twist in the story. We had a dinner plan the next day. And I'm always 50-50. I'm like, she could be hungover. She could not remember, whatever. But I put in work mentally, bro. The day before, I was like, dog, this doesn't work. I don't know what's going on. I got to retire. But she was at the pool with her friend, and she told me this later, and her friend told me this. I don't want to go. I barely remember the guy, I think. That's what she told me. And I'm just tired. Her friend, who's my superstar to this day, go for the free dinner. Go for the free dinner. I would get that tattooed on my arm, bro. Go for the free dinner. Take the risk. Like, she basically said, fuck it, take the risk. Went. Best date I've ever been on. It lasted 3 hours. Went on dinner, went to dessert, walked for a bit. It was like 9:30 p.m. We both had work the next day. Been together ever since.
Amazing.
So, yeah, I was looking, but also
You had skill and talent. Honestly, what he just said, it's definitely not a beginner.
It's teachable, though. Yeah.
It's teachable because you handled the group, the confidence you had. You sounded like you set up the date. As well, which is smart logistically. Like, and this is probably also why you're so in love and still together, because you used, like, they say, success happens when opportunity meets preparation.
Yeah.
You were prepared. You saw the opportunity. You did the game. You did the dance. She danced with you back, and that's why you're happy and satisfied, because it's not like you went for a comfort zone or the easy girl that is clinging onto you. You got what you wanted. I think you did what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
This is a good example.
Thank you.
Like, it was
I
still
appreciate that.
challenging enough. Like, it wasn't easy.
I did. That was not easy. No, it was not. I've definitely had easier nights. So yeah, I mean, I guess going back to the point, I want to make sure I say this. Like, I was definitely looking, but I
Like,
also
you were just tired of what you had, or
I was talking to 3 other girls, and I've told Dakota this, my girlfriend. I was talking to like 3 other girls at the time, including her, and
until a certain point.
until a certain point. So
I
what
want
I
to talk about how that progresses too.
yeah, I'll happy to indulge on that. I think it's because if you don't have an abundance, it's just the opposite. You have scarcity, so you're just taking what you get, and you can get lucky. And I'm not saying for the people that have done that, they did anything wrong, absolutely. But like when you have an abundance, you have experience of what you like and what you don't like. You're able to identify, you know what, this person, because I was like, this is my end, I want someone to be my end game, mother of my kids, right? Nurturing, intelligent, is able to hold their own, all this stuff. So like, be cooler than me to my friends. Like my friends have to think she's cooler than me. That was like my number one rule. And she passed those with flying colors. And some of the other people actually didn't. So I was like, interesting. And you know, it got in. I obviously was very transparent. I never lied to anybody, and I told them like, hey, I'm not looking for anything until I was.
You find that out after you take them
Correct.
to the first party. Like,
Correct.
once they make it to the group setting, then
Yeah.
you'll find everything else.
It's like getting to the final boss. You gotta go for the first few rounds, and then if each person falls off, and then you're like, oh, there's a final boss.
That's
Yeah, but that's how it worked for me.
So you were still with abundance, and up to what point did y'all become exclusive? Like, how does somebody transition in this modern dating world to exclusive?
Yeah.
Monogamy.
That's a great question. I think so. This is probably the biggest thing for me. This is actually very uncommon in my opinion, because I've talked to a lot of people, and the people that I've talked to that I worked for are also dating coaches or a similar kind of a space. I was very transparent with my girlfriend. Hey, I'm really passionate about this, and she noticed it off the bat. Like how I could talk to anybody. I was very like, she would always let me just go talk, and she had no problem with me talking to other girls, to help my friends and in public situations. And I had no problem with her like getting talked to by guys and getting drinks. It's like, okay, you're going home with me. So I was very secure with that, and I didn't really care. Obviously, I've been lucky to where nothing has happened, but I have friends. If anything bad happens, I'm able to handle it. It's not that big of a deal, but nothing did, and I was never put ourselves in an uncomfortable situation. But that was the biggest thing, trust. I was very transparent off the bat, and I never said it like, hey, I want to talk to other girls. I never established it like that. I was like, hey, I'm really passionate about this, and I'm potentially thinking about pursuing this as like a career. And she was off the bat very supportive. I think that's just like the way she grew up. She's very nurturing and very like, one of the smartest, if not the smartest person I met. She can sleep midday and just wake up and like get everything done in 30 minutes. And I'll be there 3 hours later, like, I don't know how you're doing this. And that's one of the most attractive things about her. And that's why we clicked. And it was that compromise. We don't have a lot in common in the sense of like, she has different interests than me, but it's a compromise, right? Being in a relationship is significantly harder than being single. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, for sure.
Because this is the rest of your life. Being single, you're not single forever, and there's a period of time of intensity, but that's about it. There's a compromise, and then knowing when to say no and walk away from things and be like, hey, I'm not comfortable with this, and being very transparent. And that's kind of why we work still to this day.
That's big. I believe what you said, key was honesty and transparency. A lot of times, usually, the female of the relationship will start to, I think they call it identify or like state the relationship, or like, what are we?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Essentially, just ask what.
Yeah, just, and that is the moment of truth for the guy.
Yeah.
If they are unsure, or if they are caught off guard, and this is an advice maybe to the women, anything other than, I want you to be my girlfriend, anything other than we're a thing, anything just, if you don't feel that grounded energy, that's because they're still in their exploration phase.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy has to go through that. which is also why I'm single now. Because I feel like I still have a lot of exploring to do. And that is a whole nother spiritual topic, maybe with my ancestors and the lineage and kind of things like that, that I was been learning about. Regardless, every man's different. Some don't even have to explore.
Yeah.
Some have their high school sweetheart forever.
Mm-hmm.
But for a woman, though, they have to recognize that and let them go back into the pond. Cut the fish loose.
Yeah.
The worst thing that I see is women see the potential.
Mm-hmm.
They think they want to level them up, but just depends on, if you're young, maybe you can experiment with that. But if you're starting to get into late 20s or early 30s, you want to find a man that wants to find their queen. I think the first stages of relationships usually are unfortunately toxic, and they can do some more harm than good, more damage. And do you ever have to like repair the baggage from a guy, like trust issues, insecurities, things like that?
Yeah, you'd be surprised how often I am a therapist, and I love it. It's I'm so happy I have the greatest job ever, because I found my passion. I felt, it took me a while to kind of full-time follow it, but I did it. And because it's part of their story. Like, you can't run away from the past. People were like, oh man, this happened to me. So your past definitely affects your future and your present. But use it as fuel, right? Like, you got bullied, this happened, you got broken up with, she cheated on you. Like, I'm going to be a dick here and be like, so what? What's your alternative? See and cry about it for the rest of your life? No. Do something about it. Like, you don't have to do anything to prove to them wrong. If you want to use that as some fuel, go ahead. But that fades out, right? The lessons you learn from your past build the character for your future. So take that and use that as building blocks, right? Be like, you know what? If you got divorced, right, or something, I got married too early. I didn't have any experience. Time to build that experience. It's never too late. Get in good shape, right? Oh man, this breakup made me realize how much weight I need to lose, or whatever, right? Get in good shape. Go to Lift ATX. Right? Say I sent you. There are things you can do. The very simple things you can do off the bat to change your life, and the rest is kind of self-love and self-belief. But how are you going to build that? The only way you're going to build that is through proof, right? You have to be able to show yourself, I can do this. It's, listen, if you want to stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself, I'm beautiful, I'm awesome, I'm great, fuck yeah, do it. But then 3 seconds after, you better step out of your door and prove it, or else that doesn't do anything. And I tried it. Oh my God, I tried everything, man. The only thing that worked for me is getting that high of doing it. And then you're like, oh, it went well. Oh, it went terribly. And you can kind of fix it. You can, okay, I don't know what I did wrong. Do a post-game analysis. I always recommend, I journal everything. And I tell my clients to journal as well. Tell me what happened. If you can't tell me what happened, clearly, you need a post-game analysis, right? Even if you talk to a girl, it sounds corny, but like, dude, people go to therapy and talk about the stupidest shit. This is your therapy. If you want to pay for a therapist, start journaling, man. How are you going to know you improved if you don't have a track record? People have Whoop and Apple Watch to track their workouts and all this stuff, right? They have, they do 75 hard and they track their body, but they don't have kind of any track record of how they felt mentally or their actions that they did in a day.
That's huge.
So that's what I say.
Tracking that is very huge. Reflection, action, and reflection.
Yeah.
So that way you course correct. Curious though, do you have you coached women, and do you have any advice for women?
I have. I actually started my business coaching a few women as well. Women are a different beast. So what
would you say to one that is new in the dating world, or let's just say a divorcee?
Yeah. First, the simple answer is like, take your time, right? I think the advice doesn't change for gender here. You need to know what your values are, and don't fucking settle, for the love of God. You already went through something bad. Don't settle again, right? Like, but there's a difference between like having strict boundaries and not also putting in a little bit of effort. I'm a firm believer men need to do 75% of the work.
Including paying for everything?
I feel like if you're a gentleman, do it. But it's also very nice when a woman insists on paying. Like, you know, let's say first date. First date, I think it's whoever's idea the date was should insist on paying. So if the woman asks you out, she should at least, at the very least, pull out her wallet or purse, pull out a card. And if you're a gentleman, you're like, hey, no, I got it, right? I feel like that's a good gesture. But for me, I'm pretty traditional. Men should do most stuff and like realize that, okay? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, if it is, do free shit. It's not that fucking complicated. So women, I think, have high standards, and I love like the girl boss stuff, but also like, great, you have the mentality, but are you putting anything into action? Like, where are you spending your time? Are you spending your time in places guys are willing to meet you? That's 75% of the way, right? Or are you just at home being mean to yourself and the world, right? So it's the same thing. You have to go out too. If you're a divorcee at 35, why the hell are you going to bars? Right? You need to be going to places, right? If you're divorcee, what the first thing you're going to do is like, you know what? I'm going to get back in shape. I'm going to go shopping, look nice. Go to the places where that matters. Go to the run club, go to the gym, go to nice upscale places because you have the capability, and that's where these people will be. And I'm not saying go to bars. Really, 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 really work on identifying what are your true interests, passions. If you picked up 3 foster cats and you're really into animals and you go volunteer, the chance to be meeting someone meaningful is going to be way higher there than at a bar. You know, I'm just giving you that example.
Of course.
Yeah.
What do you think about the dating apps, though? Should anybody use those?
I think I didn't have much success on dating apps. You know, I'm not Chris Hemsworth. I feel like, so I had a few, I still have a few friends. Hey man, you never know. I have a few friends that work as data analysts on the algorithm team. I don't know if they're still there on Hinge. They were telling me there's an archetype for Hinge. It doesn't matter if you pay Hinge X. I don't give a shit. They don't care.
What's the archetype?
The archetype is the majority of the American population, which is like, you know, white, blue eyes. So I get it. I understand the meme. So I never did particularly well, but I'd had some success mostly because I really worked on my Pinterest profile and all that stuff. But then I was like, dude, I'm wasting so much time on this. And I didn't pay for anything, but people do. Go put your talents where you have more control. Like I'm just not in the mindset of like, I'm not going to let an algorithm dictate my future.
Yeah.
Right. And apps for the most part are just for hookups. I don't care what anybody says. I know people meet, which is awesome, but I'm like, your chances of meeting someone cool at the coffee shop by taking the risk is significantly higher. So think about it. If you want to think about it this way, this is how I tell one of my clients, because he's a huge nerd. I'm like, what's the difference between Hinge and a coffee shop? You can't swipe at a coffee shop. Everything's in front of you, right? But what's the difference? The biggest difference also is you have this, in Hinge, you send a message, you have to wait. Coffee shop, you don't. She's right there. It's maybe a little bit scary, but you get the instant response. You don't get rejected. You don't wait for a week. You don't get ghosted. You know immediately, right? So I feel that people want to find that person. Oh my gosh, and they think it's easy. I don't think dating really is easy or should be, because it's kind of natural selection.
Yeah.
Right. The people that you want, if you want someone that's fit, attractive, a lawyer, works hard, but also can clean the house, cook. Oh, it's a 10 out of 10. And you sit at home playing Xbox in your underwear, eating Cheetos, whatever, right? Like, you think she's going to take care of you? Right. So it's like, you need to meet the person in the middle. Go to the middle. There's a location. That place is the middle. Go to, listen, I'm a big fan of all these like Austin, like social clubs, athletic stuff, because Austin's a daytime city. Go there. And then practice. Right? If you don't know, oh man, I'm not able to vibe with people. I'm like, girls are saying, nice to meet you, and leaving. you're doing something wrong. Hire a dating coach. Get someone who can help you with this stuff, right? Like, no, I'm serious.
It's true.
Right? Whether it's me or someone else, like, that's why we're here.
It's like social calibration. Like
Correct.
if you get a coach, because the worst thing is to keep doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results.
Yeah.
That's insanity. So you needed evaluated experience.
Yeah.
And really women do find attraction in different ways. Not like men. Definitely not like men. Usually it's more, they care more about the mystery. You don't want to flat out just give all your intention, like, I think you're pretty.
Yeah.
I think you're great. Like, I remember, I said this the last time. It really opened my eyes of like how romantic they can be is the slow approach, the patient approach. Like, this girl I was talking to said she would want to meet her ideal partner at a coffee shop, but not directly. They maybe notice each other a couple times.
Yeah.
Maybe months go by and then they run into each other and then they start talking.
Yeah.
Then it progresses. And what I found, especially in this life, is slow dopamine, slow progression, patience. Because pornography culture has fried men's brains to want instant, quick hits.
Yeah.
Slowing things down, taking your time to build those relationships, being a genuine person. And like you said, those daytime things is where it happens, because at night I did get a taste of the nightlife, and it's not anything special. It's not anything great. It's really just pockets of people just getting drunk, and they really stay in the same pockets of people.
Yeah.
Maybe some other friend crew merges together, but I'm all for celebrating life and good music, maybe a drink or two. But like you said, there's just a difference between someone who gets up on Saturday or Sunday morning and just does something different.
Where is your future wife at 8 a.m. on a Saturday morning? I'll say this to women, as like you previously brought up. I think the society today, I want to give women a lot of credit, because their ability to meet us halfway nowadays has increased significantly, and men's ability to meet their 50% has decreased significantly as well.
How so?
Because one, men aren't approaching anymore as much, right? As much. Women are taking more initiative. I feel a lot more women than you think are doing a lot of the indirect, like, oh, I like your shoes. If a girl comes up to you and asks you, likes your shoes, or smiles at you, listen, you gotta be blind to like at least not try. Even if she has a boyfriend, she might be act on it. Like, who cares? Worst case scenario, she's taken. Or, oh, I just wanted to compliment your shoes. I was looking to get a pair. Make a friend. Maybe she introduced you to a friend. It's that simple. But I will say women can keep doing what you're doing, but also, right, to go back to your friend's story, it's like she wants to meet that guy at the coffee shop. Go over, ask him what book he's reading. Oh, wow, that's really cool. I'll definitely check out that author. Sorry to bother you. Enjoy your day. Even if she does that she just did 80% of the work. That 20% is him getting up. Hey, what's your name? Imagine. Sometimes it's the extra push. And listen, if you can't read that sign as a man, contact me on Instagram. Happy to help you out. Because, listen, the girls aren't going to do more than that. They shouldn't have done any of that. But also, a big strategy for men and women, I'll say, but I think predominantly men here, is a long game, like you mentioned. That's honestly the best form. So, like I mentioned, frequenting your favorite coffee shop. You're going to see this person over and over again. Let's say you go to a coffee shop every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and she's there working Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll put a scenario when I want you to tell me which one's right. You see her, right? It's week 1. You go Monday, oh, I see her. Wednesday, oh, okay, I see her. Friday, okay, you know what? I'm going to go up and tell her she's really cute and beautiful and ask for a number. That's scenario 1, okay? Scenario 2. Monday, Wednesday, Friday pass. First week passes. Second week, right? And it's Monday. You go up to her. Hey, excuse me. I see you here all the time. What's your name? Shauna, whatever. And what book are you reading? I just was super curious. I just wanted to ask. And then Wednesday comes around. Hey, Shauna, how's it going? Did you finish that book? What did you order today? The drink looks like, kind of friendly. She recognizes your name. Friday, she waves at you, says hi to you. Next Monday, you learn a little bit about her. You talk to her, right? You talk to this person just frequently. Now maybe you sit down with her, have a coffee with her. Hey, I got to run to work. Great to talk to you, Shauna. Wednesday, you feel the vibe. She's flirting back. You're right. Which scenario is automatically better? How do you think the first scenario is going to go? You shoot your shot.
Yeah, and when you shoot the shot too, if you rush it, you can crash and burn.
And you have to see this person Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And you know what? Imagine you've ruined that place for her. How shit would you feel? And I'll add, exactly. So scenario B is obviously better. But you can put that scenario, take the coffee shop out of it, put the gym, put run club, put pickleball, put, I wouldn't say work, but any kind of situation where you see this person on a regular basis. Put church if you're religious. Put whatever, right? If you go volunteer somewhere, put that. It's better to play the long game because you understand the person, build a rapport before you make that 3 weeks in, 4 weeks in. Hey, you brought up cupcakes. Your grandma owned a bakery in Sweden, right? That's so awesome. I know this amazing spot. We should go, right? I'm actually planning on going Thursday. You should come. Her chances of saying yes are way more if she's interested than first scenario. Hey, I know this cupcake spot. I know it was the first time we spoke and you want to go on a date. And I actually feel that's where a lot of people make mistakes. They need to take a little bit more time, especially if you're going to see this person over and over again.
So true. Yeah. And if you think about it like poker, if you rush for the number, if you rush for the date, or if you rush and you show your interest, it's like, here are all my cards.
Yeah, 100%.
And you force them to have to decide.
On the spot.
Yeah, on the spot.
Women, it's 2024. After the Me Too movement, women have to be safe. Why I don't care if you are, again, Chris Hemsworth. Women, they're still going to be like, I'm good, thanks though.
All right.
And now she's never going to come to that coffee shop again. So
yeah, never.
It's kind of the game.
Safety is huge. What projects do you have coming up? What can people look forward to in the future?
Yeah, man. Currently really grinding it out on my Instagram, trying to be more creative, add my personality into it.
Because you have a good thing that's working there.
Yeah.
So you're just trying to improve upon that.
The interviews have been great. People love the interviews, hearing the perspective of the public. And I'm definitely trying to get some gigs, public speaking gigs, get some, I guess, injection of my personality, right? I don't necessarily think it should be me talking all the time, but also people want to learn. How can I really inform the people to teach them something without me, with not necessarily just me sitting in front of a camera and saying, hey guys, this is what to do. How do I incorporate things? So that's what I'm really working on. And potentially a newsletter. Maybe end of year. I'll keep you updated.
That's great. Newsletter is important. Having a lead magnet to collect emails.
Yeah.
I'm working on that too. That's the move. Has there been, a couple final questions too, has there been some, what's been your most viral video, or the question that caused that viral video? What do people eat up? Is it what are some common icks?
Yeah.
Or does body count matter? What has been the hot thing that?
I guess depends on your definition of viral. I have a video that's done a few million, and
few million.
It's awesome, and that kind of blew up my content for there. It was, would you rather be in the forest with a bear or a man? And I don't know why.
When that was
when that was kind of trendy, and so kind of following the trend, being strategic about it, and the comments are just ridiculous, man. It's just you see you see men saying, of course they'd say bear, and then women getting upset. So it's a battle in the comments. It's really interesting, but it's engagement. So people, it kind of upped the algorithm. And then my other one was, funny enough, I was actually on South Congress and interviewed. It's hey, what's dating like in, I think I said Dallas, because the girls I was talking to are from Dallas. I was that's fine. And that blew up. So that was actually a few million there. And
they say, how's dating in Dallas?
No, man, no one wants to approach us. They just want to use us. So like, I think it's sometimes the vocabulary and also like the people in the video. If they're engaging and give good answers, it matters. But also, I think people just want to hear the truth. You know, some people like, oh man, okay, maybe I should approach more. And then also say majority of the people are like, oh no, this doesn't work because X, Y, Z. And you know, those are the ones sitting behind their computer, eating the bag of chips and guac and typing. So be careful who you take your advice from, for sure.
The trolls of the internet. That's awesome, man. Well, it's been a pleasure interviewing you, and local Austin legend in the making.
Yes. Thank you, man.
Definitely save those introverted men, because relationships are beautiful, and you want to build comfort within yourself and with others, and you're helping there be less creepy men out there. So it's a good job.
Yeah, man. That's the best way to put it, honestly.
Awesome.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.